Well, this just in, out of Major League Baseball, the Houston Astros have agreed to a deal with free agent first baseman Christian Walker. That is the very latest from our own MLB insider Jim Bowden. Walker hit .251 this past season with the Diamondbacks with 26 home runs and 84 RBIs. For much more on this, let's go ahead and welcome in our own Jim Bowden to the program now as we are live here on CBS Sports HQ. Jim, it's great to see you. You know, we were awaiting the terms and details of this deal, and we understand that you just got word, so break it all down for us.
Yeah, Jordan. So Christian Walker is now a Houston Astro pending a physical. It's a 3-year deal worth $60 million. Now, keep in mind, Christian Walker is one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. In fact, he's won the Gold Glove Award each of the last 3 years, and he's hit 26 to 36 home runs each of the last 3 years as well. So he brings power, he brings Gold Glove defense to first base. But the real news in the signing of Christian Walker by the Astros is it means that Alex Bregman's career as an Astro is over. He's been one of the face of the franchises. He's been a main reason why the Astros have been to 8 of the last 9 postseasons. And we always thought that he would finish his career in Houston. Well, that is now over. I spoke with Dana Brown, the general manager of the Astros, about 15 minutes ago. He made it very clear to me that Christian Walker will play first, and Isaac Paredes, who they picked up in the Kyle Tucker deal with the Cubs last weekend, will be the third baseman. So that means Bregman's days now over. So now the question becomes, Jordan, where does Alex Bregman go? And look, there's a lot of teams that are in on him. The Boston Red Sox are a team that really wants him. They would move Rafael Devers to first base if they sign him. The Toronto Blue Jays have been pursuing him as well, as has the Detroit Tigers. But I think right now the Red Sox have to be the front runners, maybe getting Bregman. But his days in Houston now over, Jordan.
All right, well, it's good to know how this signing does impact Houston and as they move forward here. And I was going to ask you what was next for Alex Bregman, but you went ahead and answered that question. Talk about, though, let's get back to Walker here and really what he brings from the Diamondbacks to Houston. What are you expecting to see from him?
Yeah, I mean, I like what they now have at the corner infield with Walker and Paredes because you got 50 to 60 home runs, right? They're both 25, 30 home run bats. Last year, the Houston Astros were last in run production from the first base position. So now you look at what they've done on the corners. Their infield is now going to be one of the best in baseball in terms of the runs they can score. Now, there were a lot of teams that were in on Walker, teams like the Yankees and the Mariners, the Diamondbacks wanted to bring him back. Now, what this means for the Yankee fans is in all likelihood, they're now going to look at either Paul Goldschmidt or Carlos Santana as their answer at first base. I'm told they are not in on Pete Alonso in terms of being in that range. They've spent their money. They've done their heavy lifting, but it looks like it's either going to be Goldschmidt or Santana that will end up being the first baseman for the New York Yankees. Now, also, there had been rumors that the Cardinals and Astros had worked on a deal that would have sent Nolan Arenado from St. Louis to Houston, but Nolan Arenado nixed that deal with his no-trade clause. I'm told that that deal now completely dead with the signing of Walker, so that will no longer be an option for Arenado either, Jordan.
All right, good to note there. Shifting gears to kind of another name that's been in the news lately, and that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Athletic has reported that he could be looking at a $500 million extension, but just your thoughts here, Jim, on where it goes from here.
Yeah, it's a great question, Jordan. And again, we go back to the Juan Soto $765 million deal with the New York Mets. And so the Toronto Blue Jays had offered 10 years, $350 million to Vladimir Guerrero recently. He turned that down. And look, I think the agents are going to look at the Soto deal and say, well, look, if he's worth $765, then my guy should at least get $500. And it does make sense when you're trying to compare the players, but that would be a record. Look, I don't think he's going to get a 5 in front of it. I might be wrong a year from now. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think, at the very least, players like him and Kyle Tucker, who will be 2 of the biggest free agents next offseason, I do think you're probably looking at somewhere in the $450 million range as being realistic, which is about $100 million more than what Bryce Harper got and what Manny Machado got. So the price is going up. I'm not sure it's going to get all the way to $500 million, though.
It's always going up, Jim. The price is always going up for everything. Thanks so much for joining us here as we break down the very latest. The Houston Astros have agreed to a deal with free agent first baseman Christian Walker. As our own Jim Bowden reports, it is a 3-year, $60 million deal for Christian Walker. As you take a look at the latest odds to win the World Series, Dodgers up there at plus 320, but the Houston Astros also sit up there at plus 1,300.